My best friend lied about me to his girlfriend, and now it's ruined our friendship. I, 34 female, have been best friends with this guy, George, 33 male, for over 13 years now. We met at the same job, and over the 12-hour days, really bonded over our same love of nerdy stuff, dumb humor, and the Steelers. We have a very brother-sister relationship where we understand each other pretty well, but the thought of any schmexy time between us makes us both visibly ill. Strictly bros, which is what we tell everyone when they first ask about our friendship. Let me also say that our whole thing is playing video games online a couple of times a week, like GTA, Baldur's Gate 3, and Stardew Valley. We also send dumb memes to each other throughout the day and text about work and current relationship stuff to get the straight female or straight male opinion, depending on who's asking. But we don't live close to each other, and I actually haven't seen him in person in 2 years since he came to help me install flooring into one room of my new house after I bought it. Late in 2024, George started dating Sarah, 31 female, who we met while away at Air Force training in Texas. I was insanely happy to see him talking to her because up until then, he was only seeing girls who were some sort of project for him. I say seeing because aside from one, he was a legit F-boy. And as soon as a woman started forming feelings, he would start to ghost them and make them feel crazy. Always after getting his fun times. And I was tired of the drama he would always complain about that he had caused. And yes, I pointed out that it was his fault 90% of the time. Good friend. Anyway, when he started talking to Sarah, it was great. She's smart, has a great job, has a good head on her shoulders, and had a ton in common with him. He stopped talking to the one ex he couldn't quit but who was super toxic for him. She was married and blamed all her problems on him. George would go down to see Sarah and her two sons because she is still down in Texas, and he would tell me about it, and I could tell that this was different. I would tell him to take his time and don't rush because in the past, that always led to ghosting. It was promising to see him in an adult relationship. Starting in 2025, I started to realize some things, though. When I was on the headset with George during video games, a lot of times she would call to chat with him, and because he didn't want to quit the game, he'd leave the headset on so we could still communicate. Sarah asked what he was up to, and he said that he was playing games, and when she asked with who, he simply stated the one other guy in the group. This happened a couple more times before I pointed out to him and asked what the heck was going on. George told me that Sarah didn't like the fact that he had a female bro and that it was just easier to pretend that I wasn't there or else she got upset and didn't talk to him. I told him I didn't like that because it made me feel like I was the other woman and I literally wasn't doing anything wrong. He told me that I was making it a bigger deal than it was and just let him handle it, so I dropped it. Over the next several months, several more things happened. She added me on Facebook, which I didn't mind at all because I was all about transparency and thought it would be better to see that I was involved with another guy romantically, not George. Sarah, on one of his visits to her, asked if she bought a PS5, and online, he would spend his free evenings playing with her sons when he was back away at home. He said he already played with them on the Switch, but the PS5 was more for him and his bros and the games that they played. She also got a hold of his phone and looked through his messages and saw all the memes that we were sending to each other on Instagram and Facebook. Again, all about sports, games, or the new Harry Potter, but she asked him why he didn't send her that kind of stuff. These last two examples he told me about after the fact. So we come to a couple of days ago. He and I are talking, and after one joke, he tells me, "Why can't you be attracted to the same gender? Haha." I ask him what that's supposed to mean, and he tells me, well, then my current girlfriend wouldn't constantly be jealous and yelling at me about talking to you. At this point, after months of hearing him complain about this issue, I finally snapped. I told him I understood that she had been hurt in the past, cheated on twice, and I knew that that took some healing, but he needed to man up and talk to her about these trust issues because I was not going to keep acting like we weren't hanging out or talking. He started to get annoyed and we started arguing because he said, as usual, it wasn't that big of a problem. I asked him, because they had talked about possible marriage, had he told her that I was going to be one of his groomsmen, a plan that we've had for years, as well as him being one of my bridesmaids. His response was that he would just surprise her when it was too late to turn back. I couldn't believe how thick-headed he was being and said, "What are you going to do when she asks you for her to stop talking to me to make her happy?" He yelled back, "She's not like the other girls. She's not going to do that." Finally, I said, "You need to grow up here and be honest and acknowledge that, yes, we are hanging out, but online and talking. But that you love her and make it clear that you and I are nothing but friends. I told him to invite her to one of our gaming sessions or invite her up to his house. I will drive the 4 hours too. Bring the guy that I'm seeing and we could hang out. She could get to know me face to face and see that how we interacted had very big sibling vibes. Anything to make her more comfortable with anything. He said no, he wasn't comfortable with that. I emphasized that he needed to do it or else I was going to reach out to her myself. He got really mad at that and told me that I was not to talk to her. I stopped talking to him. The past couple of days, he's been acting like nothing had happened, sending me stuff and trying to play online, but I've denied or not responded to anything. So am I being the a-hole telling him that he needs to deal with Sarah's trust issues with our friendship? And there is an update 2 months later. It's been a few months and some things have happened, so I thought I would offer an update on everything. George was still not confronting the issue that his girlfriend had about our friendship. He has told me that she'd brought it up that if she was talking to another guy as much as he was talking to me, then he would be super jealous of that. For a while, it was the same stuff, acting like we weren't playing video games when we were, not bringing me up, etc.